Okay, I just tried to do a video and apparently the freaking SD card wasn't moderated or was full or something, so I got about 30 seconds into a video about moderation and stuff. So now I'm just winding down the clock to see if it freaking cuts out on me after about 30 seconds. So, that's basically what this video is about right now. Also, it's about moderation and stuff because there's a joy of free. Yeah, okay, it's going. There's a joy of free speech. Uh, it's like, sure, something is valueless. Uh, something that is free is valueless, and that's what you see on like public lands and stuff. Old wash machines, garbage, broken strollers, some store's shopping basket, things like that. And online, it could be the same way. If you don't have something to moderate it goes by the wayside. And that would include, like, it's like having a yard sale for free. What you'll find is people just take stuff and throw it at your front lawn. They change their mind. They throw it in the street. It has no value because it has no price. And the price online is the point of being respected. No, not respected, valued. And not in a monetary sum, but in a social contract. And yes, I kind of agree that some things that aren't moderated aren't worth anything, but all it needs to be is just that little bit to actually cut through the spam, the insult comments, the trolling, the friggin' go look at my link, all Jews must die, Heil Hitler 88. I mean, all the bullshit, And it's like, okay, that is not the most desirable thing. But I think it is valuable because it's freedom. The only thing bad about it is it drives people off because it completely spams things. If you had a way to friggin' sort through it, and sometimes you don't need to just sort through it, you need to see it because what you think is junk and spam isn't. Like friggin' Nazis are bad. But someone calling someone a Nazi when they have an opinion about race, gender, sexuality, nationality, or any other friggin' progressive bullshit thing, isn't necessarily make that person a Nazi. Or a Nazi or some white supremacist or something can have a valid point, or even a friggin' Islamic fundamentalist can have a basic valid point, but taking it too far and taking it in the wrong way. So that's why we need a free marketplace of ideas. Even if there's going to be a scrappy history of stuff that goes with it, it's only because not all of that is useless. It's just some of that is freaking framed wrong in a way that will never work. And that includes freaking a lot of Marxists, a lot of socialists, a lot of freaking left-wing utopian ideas. Some of which, as a post-scarcity futurist, at least as an economic progressive, I kind of catch myself subscribing to, free healthcare, freaking environmental nation, a nation with a green energy. These all sound pie in the sky to me, but are they sustainable? Are they reliable? Are they realistic? And when you start getting your feels into it, you lose the freaking narrative. And sometimes that can be really hard to take. So yeah, I really value free speech. Even when I don't like it, when it's not free speech that freaking is very nice to me. You know, it's like, fat pride. I am definitely fat. And I don't think being fat means I should have to pay for two seats on an airplane. I should be denied work. I should be uh, I should lose medical care for uh, for for not being eligible for something. My insurance rates go. Some of that's slightly reasonable, but because you make your own choices. In reality, even though you could say, well, I have an eating compulsion or whatever, and it's valid. I think it's somewhat valid. The truth is, you really didn't take those steps to freaking ensure your freaking appearance, health, and ultimately, your life expectancy. I can be blamed for my weight, and my looks, but I accept that as a social conservative libertarian because that's someone else's free speech, and as it's not really impacting me on an economic level. Hey, that's where I differ from fat pride. You want to call me a fat, lazy, toothless slob? Maybe I'm an old, fat, lazy, toothless slob. It's just the way it goes. The only person that's responsible for that is me. To a certain degree. Now, if you want to talk about friggin' nutrition and the goddamn friggin' salt, sugar, and friggin' saturated fat factory that is processed foods, which is bullshit because it creates a monopoly of need. And that's freaking choosing profit over public good. And I don't agree with that because I'm an economic progressive, Sure, you can make your own, but with poor people, they've only got two things. Cheap food and cheap thrills. Like a YouTube or frigging some frigging cable service or something. Sit around and eat the friggin' Domino's pizza while you're watching the latest friggin' overcharged friggin' man show. And I think there's a problem with the world. And that's why, even though I can't pretend that I'm trying to care more about my health. I have tried to cook a little bit, And of course I throw in all the butter and mayonnaise and stuff. Ruin any health benefit from it. But, at least I'm getting a few veggies in without all the processed foods. So, anyway, back to free speech. That's why I generally support an unregulated free speech online. Because ultimately, even though there's people with bad thinking, people that are just shit thinkers that are spamming, it's not really up to me per se to judge. Culture should be judged by culture to a great amount of degree. Other than that, once you start curtailing things, it's just the road to friggin' sedition. Is sedition the right word? I don't know. Anyway, sedition. Am I getting that right? In other words, I don't want to be... Oh, not sedition, because sedition is like... Well, yeah, it could be sedition. The left, they're friggin' communists. And it's like I read about the friggin' McCarthy things, and it's like, really? That's wrong? That's exactly what happened. You just can't back into yourself in totalitarianism trying to not be a communist which was the deal between America and Russia and the Cold War, and not so much culture itself that failed. Of course, I don't know if I would want to live in a socially conservative, authoritarian, the man establishment culture anyway, even if I grew up that way. Well, you give, you take, you take, you give. You know, there's just no way around it. You take something, you give something. You give something, you know, you're taking something. But yeah, Athenian-style democracy, free speech. Call it a pipe dream, but that's something I have feels about. Yeah. That's why I talk about it so much. Because I would hate to be freaking censored. It's like a story of Theseus, Procrustes' bed. That's the way the freaking radical left always gets you. Look it up sometime. Procrustes' bed. They'll always cut you short, or they'll always stretch you long. It's the truth.